Here we go, folks. Triple Crown here, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. This is a round 6 Allied summary, Operation Sire Blood, and it was a crazy round. And absolutely, for round 6, Moscow has fallen way over here. So the Germans very easily, because there was only one infantry defending and a fort. Leningrad has fallen. Stalingrad is 2 turns from falling. Cairo is completely surrounded. There is absolutely no hope for Cairo. All of these German units, the entire Luftwaffe of all their fighters and tacticals are sitting in Upper Egypt, which is 1 territory away, with 7 tanks and a bunch of infantry and 6 bombers over here sitting in Romania, which can all make it, and 2 of them are heavy bombers, so it is game over. So the British had to make a very difficult decision. So last turn, if you can recall, they came over and they attacked Madras and killed 6 or 7 Japanese units. The Japanese responded by taking out an counterattack and reinforced Calcutta. And the British basically chose to sacrifice. They had to punch through a naval blockade over here, prepare for a scramble, which there was 2 veteran fighters sitting in Calcutta and tactical, but they had more units. They had superiority in units and pips and were playing a little luck. And so they liberated Calcutta. They survived with 3 fighters, a medium bomber, 4 infantry, and a tactical. And their navy here, they've got 3 destroyers sitting off Madras, and they've got an empty carrier, 4 destroyers, 4 cruisers, 2 battleships, and 2 transports waiting for this Japanese navy that's all within range, except for this navy here now, because anyways, even this navy here and this navy here is enough to take it out with ease, which that's what the Japanese are going to do. But there's a wrinkle here. The wrinkle is the KMT was sitting here in Burma and 1 territory away, and they had 23 infantry attacking, a cavalry, an artillery, 3 light tanks, and a fighter. And that was just too much. It was too many units, too overwhelming odds. And so they were able to, actually the initial round wasn't as lopsided, but it was the amount of units the KMT had in going into round 2 and round 3. The Japanese only had I think it was 13 units total. So they just could not go round to round. So they were dispatched, and the minor IC is destroyed. But that was the counterattack. That was Japan's counterattack to liberate Calcutta, which they are not going to be able to do because there's just no infantry around. There's 2 transports here, 1 transport here, but there's no infantry they can liberate. And the Allies have been slowly picking off the Japanese transports. I think they've killed 4 or 5, I don't even know. There was a failed initial attack. The lone Japanese transport here sunk a New Zealand or Australian submarine, but the Americans followed up with their submarine and their Air Force and took it out. And the American Air Force also took out a submarine or a transport off the coast of Tokyo, which would have been potentially a counterattack to liberate Calcutta or liberate. They still could try to liberate Siam, but with that many, I think Siam, if the KMT wants to hold it for the game, that's going to be very tough for them to dislodge. The Japanese now have left Hawaii vacated. The Americans could have attacked last turn. They decided not to. The Japanese seem to be concerned about Russia because they came up here to the Soviet Far East in Kamchatka and Soviet Far East and dropped off a couple infantry. And they pushed towards the territory that's beside the KMT, or sorry, the CCP. So they can easily wipe out the CCP probably next turn, but Russia's got a counterattack. Russia's also got a counterattack to liberate or reinforce Calcutta. The Russians also, with their air transport and train, brought down another 4 units and a couple aircraft. So Russia is doing what it can as they retreat out of Moscow and Stalingrad. So Japan's in a little bit of trouble over here. Their Navy, depending on which direction they should send it, they're sitting here with a couple self-propelled artillery in Shanghai and a small Navy sitting here off of Shanghai, a Yamato and a couple destroyers sitting over here. But the American Navy is just sitting relaxing in Hawaii. Their 10 or 9 destroyers moved up, and also their naval fighter moved up. They built 8 submarines and 2 transports. The Canadians and the British built 2 destroyers off the coast of British Columbia. Sweden has now been annexed by Germany. That's what happens when Moscow falls. And the British are slowly building up the defense of at least units to either go do a landing in Western Europe or a defense of London, so it never hurts to do that. The Canadians built another tank and another infantry ready to shuck either to London or perhaps D-Day is going to happen next turn, because the Americans built 3 transports and they can land 6 units of their own, and the British can land, I think they can land 10. So how is Germany going to respond to that? There's a battle here in South America. The American Navy, despite low luck, were shot way above their weight class and dispatched the Argentine Navy down here. And the Americans that were in Brazil came and landed in South Africa. Because once this channel is open here in, the Suez Canal, the Italian and the Germans are coming down. They're going to come down and grab the Horn. They're going to come down and grab all of Africa, and they're going to come down and make a push for South Africa. So the Americans are trying to get there first and reinforce. So currently, the Americans have 4 infantry. The British have 2 medium tanks, a Churchill, an infantry, and a fighter. So yeah. There's also a couple aircraft sitting here in Bombay, in Madras, the Middle East. The British tanks left Cairo and are sitting in Iraq, as the Germans and Italians now are going to be gobbling up all the oil territories here. So the game in regards to victory points is not over. It's just going to be how many can the Axis get and how many can the Allies deny. So stay tuned for round 7 coming up.